Matt. All righty, and joining us right now is the Benses. Of course, this segment of Fantasy Sports brought to you by Ballpark Sweaters. If you're looking for that Valentine's present for the woman in your life, whether it be your daughter, your wife, your girlfriend, whoever, whether it be for baseball or softball, consider a Ballpark sweater. It's a white sweater logo with a baseball on it, and I mean it's the stitching, Shank. You know what I mean? We have the nice stitching on it and stuff like
Nancy's
that.
got
Yeah, and it's a unique gift, really, for the softball, baseball female of your life. Go to ballparksweaters.com. Okay, let's talk a little bit of fantasy baseball hot stove. Where do we want to go? Who wants to start? And who wants to educate me?
Well, I think the big news this week has been the signing of Darvish by the Texas Rangers. And this guy is something special when it comes to being a starting pitcher. He signed a $60 million, 6-year deal, and the Rangers also had to pay up a $51 million posting fee to the Nippon Ham Fighters. Now, everyone's comparing Darvish to Daisuke.
Yeah, I thought you were going to talk about his wife, though, because of the
yeah, well, yes.
I'm not prepared for this discussion. I was waiting for the wife discussion, you know?
Well, Darvish's wife, Seiko, who he is unfortunately just recently divorced from, is a TV star in Japan, and she was our baseball's hottest wife in 2010, thanks to a late push by the Japanese fans who stuffed our ballot boxes that year.
Okay, I didn't mean to take you away, but let's continue.
Well, now that we covered the more important stuff, the comparison between Darvish and Daisuke is an obvious one. The Rangers actually had to pony up a little bit more for Darvish than Daisuke, and probably, reasonably so. When you look at their Japanese stats, Darvish has 76 wins and 28 losses, a 1.72 ERA over his first 5 years in the Japanese league. So he's been sub 2.00 since he came out of high school directly into the professional leagues in Japan. Daisuke, on the other hand, had a 2.95 ERA in his stint in Japan before coming to the Red Sox. So Darvish over a 1.2 ERA advantage over Daisuke. Now, there's a lot of differences between Japanese baseball and the Major League Baseball. One is that the seams are higher in Japan, the ball's a little tackier, easier to grip, the ballparks are bigger, the hitters are a little bit smaller in Japan, and the biggest thing in Japan is you only pitch once a week. You only pitch every 7 days, as opposed to how Darvish is going to pitch over here, and of course you don't get 100-degree weather either, like he's going to get in Arlington. But where does Darvish slot in the draft? Well, MLB.com thinks he's the 25th best starting pitcher. Sports Illustrated has him at 22. ESPN has him at 30. I've seen the guy pitch. Watch his videos on FantasyBaseballDugout.com, and you'll see just how nasty his stuff is. I have him slated as the 15th best pitcher, so I'm far more optimistic than the other pundits out there. I have him right behind the guy he replaced in Texas, C.J. Wilson and Ian Kennedy, and just ahead of Adam Wainwright and Zach Greinke. So Darvish, definitely someone you want to consider for your 2012 fantasy baseball draft.
Well, I'm talking with Bob Bentz here on Spadoro on Sports. Check out my website, SpadoreOnSports.com. You can link right to them and check it out.
The Braves and the Marlins are a lot better, but there are some definite position players with the Mets that we like coming into the new year. And one of them is Ike Davis, the first baseman. He had a bad ankle injury last year, and quite frankly, the doctors really goofed him up after that ankle injury by diagnosing it incorrectly. He had only 149 at-bats last year, but he hit .302 with 7 homers. His rookie season in 2010, he hit 19 homers. Now, remember that at Citi Field, they're bringing the fences in this year, so that should help Ike Davis's power. A couple more guys you really want to look at this year. Paul Goldschmidt of the Diamondbacks. He cracked 30 homers in only 108 games last year as a minor leaguer. He got 156 at-bats for Arizona. Bill James has Paul Goldschmidt of the Diamondbacks slated to be a 32 home run, 99 RBI guy in his first full major league season. And another guy we really like is Matt Gamble of the Brewers. He's been, stuck behind Prince Fielder for years, and assuming that Fielder, isn't back with the Brewers, he had a .310 batting average last year with 28 homers in the minors. The only rap against Gamble is he's been known to be a little bit lazy. He reported to camp last year 25, 30 pounds overweight, but if he comes in ready to play, we really like Matt Gamble of the Brewers.
All righty. Well, listen. Hey, guys, how you doing overall?
Yeah, really good. A little snow today.
Yeah, it wasn't for a lot of us. It wasn't pretty last year.
How did Uncle Bob do? Bob?
Yeah, well, I'm pretty good. You know that.
Yeah, I'm sure. And you're the commissioner too, correct?
No, John is the commissioner.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
it's hard to cheat at fantasy baseball.
Hey, listen. Hey, John, thanks a lot. We got on to Liz Gorman's fantasysweaters.com, and I don't know where we want to go. Bob, let's do this. Let's finish up some of the first basemen, the sleepers that you have shot me a list. And where were we at? I think Anthony Rizzo for the Cubs.
Yeah, Anthony Rizzo of the Cubs hit .331 in the minors last year. He got a call up late in the season, and he really stunk when he got called up to Chicago. He hit just 141 in 153 at-bats, but this guy's obviously a good player, and we think he's going to be a big part of the Cubs lineup this year. Another guy we like with the Mariners, Mike Karp. Now, Justin Smoke is the first baseman in Seattle, but Karp is going to be a regular outfielder last year. He was kind of a half-time player last year, hit .276 with 11 homers, but the Mariners are in big need of offense, so Karp is going to be the regular left fielder. He should put up some big numbers for you this year, and he does qualify as a first baseman, even though most of his time is going to be spent this year in the outfield. Another guy we really like, the Angels' Kendrys Morales. You might remember May 29th, 2010, Kendrys Morales hits a walk-off grand slam. He comes home, his team's ready to greet him, jumps on home plate, messes up his leg, has been out for a year and a half because of that injury. Kendrys Morales was actually fifth in the MVP voting in 2009. He's probably going to hit cleanup, assuming he's healthy, right behind Pujols, going to offer Pujols some protection, and he could put up some big numbers with Albert Pujols hitting in front of him. Finally, another guy we really like, Havana-born Yonder Alonso of the San Diego Padres. He came over in the Matt Latos deal. Jesus Guzman was the first baseman for San Diego last year, had a good year, but we think that Alonso is eventually going to beat him out as the season goes on, and he will win the job by midseason.
Interesting. All righty, where do you want to go? John, what do you want to talk a little bit about the Lingerie Football League?
Well, this is the capstone. This is the LFL's version of Week 17, where the playoffs all get locked up. They're in their 19th week, but there's two games. There's two games this week. On Thursday night, the Los Angeles Temptation beat the Chicago Bliss 42-26. So that actually locks up the playoffs. So the final four of your LFL 2011-2012 season are in the books. It's going to be the Philadelphia Passion, who finished the year 4-0. And the Tampa Breeze in the Eastern Conference, and in the West you have the Vegas Sin, who are 3-0 and actually have one more game coming up in Week 19. They play Saturday evening, and then the Los Angeles Temptation in the West. So your final four are going to play next Saturday, January 29th, in Toronto. There's two games. There's two back-to-back games going on in Toronto. So if you're in that area, you want to go check out some lingerie football, you're going to be able to get a doubleheader there on January 29th. And then Lingerie Bowl 9 takes place on Super Sunday in Las Vegas. Where else would the Lingerie Bowl take place? And it's going to be on, if you need a break from all the red carpet festivities leading up to the Super Bowl, it's going to be on at 4 p.m. on MTV2. So check your local cable and satellite listings to find it in your area. One really interesting note about the Lingerie Bowl, I know we're only coming into the Final Four right now, but in last year's Lingerie Bowl, the Los Angeles Temptation took on the Philadelphia Passion. So we have a chance for a Lingerie Bowl rematch with two of the hottest teams over the history of lingerie football of the league. You have a chance for a rematch there in the bowl coming up on Super Sunday.
Of course, Jonathan Benz will be giving you all the coverage of the Lingerie Football League's fantasy coverage, and probably at the 5-minute mark of this segment every week. So, if you're going to listen in and you only want to listen to one thing, I would say the LFL is the place to be, correct?
It's hard to disagree with that, especially with some of the pictures. Our Girl of the Week, we've talked about her a couple times, but she's the hottest quarterback in L.A. right now, Ashley Salerno of the L.A. Temptation. If you go to our site, we'll get you some photos too, Pete, for our blog on your website as well. But if you go to lingeriefantasyfootball.com, we have an easy-to-click link right on our homepage to go check out photos of Temptation quarterback Ashley Salerno. Hottest quarterback in L.A.
Well, that sounds good. All right, this segment of Fantasy Sports, Fantasy Baseball Hot Stove, brought to you by the good people of BallparkSweaters.com. If you're looking for a Valentine's Day present for the woman in your life who loves baseball or softball, consider a Ballpark Sweater. It's a great gift. You can go to BallparkSweaters.com or yours. And I don't know if hey, Uncle Bob, if they mention Spit on Sports, maybe they get something thrown in there I don't know what they can get, but we'll do something, right?
Yeah, we'll give them $5 off.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, mention Spit on Sports, and you get $5 off the sweater. That's pretty good. All right, you guys. You have a great